Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Dear White People, Volume 2, Chapter 6.
Disgraceful.
It's not my fault, they changed all the... I can't say season, I can't say episode, it has to be volume and chapter with this show.
It does have to be.
Every other show, season and episode, but not this one. Anyway, this was a fantastic episode. Also, not a Troy episode, it was a Lionel episode.
Troy's coming next, right?
Based on the image on the Netflix, I think it is him next.
Oh, thank God, because there's no one else it leads into direct. There's no one else featured in this that you go, oh, yeah, their episode next.
I don't know, Sorbet the dog. I think the dog deserves an episode at this point.
I don't think I could cope if the dog got an episode before Troy.
I just laughed so much when it was Lionel, but Lionel's already had one! In 60 seconds.
What's going on? Greedy bastard.
This did happen to one or two characters last year. They only got one when, a few got two.
Yeah, but usually, or at least from my memory, the people who got one got all theirs before we went.
Oh no, there was definitely one or two that didn't get their only episode until after we'd went through a couple of doubles. Because I think we had no repeats up until 5, and then I think 6 was the first repeat, and then there was maybe one or two who were new after that.
Maybe. Was the repeat Sam in the middle though?
Because
that would have made sense to me.
I can't remember. It may have been her, maybe Lionel.
Okay. I don't remember well enough for the
it's been a while.
Whose episode was in what order.
It's been a while. I remember Reggie was number 5, and I remember Sam was number 1. Beyond that, Lionel was number 2. But beyond those three, I couldn't tell you what numbers were which. But hey, so this was a fantastic episode. This episode, it went full. It was Lionel episode, but it obviously did some of his character stuff that it always does. But it treated it as a noir, and even the filming style. There was a lot of Dutch angles. They never outright had thunder strikes, but it almost felt like there was at times.
Yeah, it really played into his journalism and went down that route instead.
It was full on noir detective. The way it was sort of he was running into his new partner Brooke, his rival, who we've not seen a whole lot of this season, but they hated each other's guts at the paper last season. Honestly, his "oh hell no" when she walked in the room cracked me up.
It was pretty amusing.
I think because Lionel never gets that heated. It went from a 2 to 11. And his voice, it was really amusing.
Yeah.
And we have him, of course. He's kind of texting his new kind of boyfriend, and he's kind of working up the courage to actually do stuff with him, which leads to some really awkward. I mean, kind of sweet, but also very awkward scenes later on, where they're kind of doing a thing. But all the detective stuff with Brooke was cracking me up. Her turning to be a right horn dog, and oh yeah, we'll go interview the white guy, and we'll F him. It's you mean F him up? Sure,
that too.
Yeah. And then later on, she basically tries to seduce Lionel, and he's just he's all tired. He's not really looking, and she starts to it's oh, this whole will they won't they thing we've got going. Let's see where it goes. And he opens his eyes, and she's just taking off her shirt. He's like, "What are you doing? Why are you disrobing? I'm gay."
Yeah, he's like, "No, it's a won't they."
Yeah, and she's just hey. Sexuality is a spectrum. And then Troy, just from across the hall, no means no. And then Reggie's just sitting there. They're playing video games. Which, speaking of video games, there was the most specific reference to Fallout 4 that I never saw coming. Wesley, the new boyfriend's oh, that's Fallout 4. This.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
And he's what you mean? Wish we had missed the RPG elements of the previous games. Yeah, it was so linear, wasn't it? I don't remember it being linear. From what I played, I don't remember it being any more linear than 3. But I can.
It's not, because
linear.
It's still open world. You can still do it in any order you want. So it's not linear.
I'll agree that it was kind of bland, and in terms of the excitement that one might have had for it.
It's more limited in your play style, because it often forces you into maybe that's what they mean by linear, where it forces you into a play style for certain things.
I think Fallout 4 is a fine. Anyway. I mean, not to turn us into a Fallout 4 discussion. I think Fallout 4 is a fine game. It just wasn't a big step up from Fallout 3. It just looked better. It was Fallout 3 with some prettier graphics.
Yeah, I think it's objectively worse than Fallout 3 and New Vegas, though. Those have both got more going on.
Yeah, fair enough. But anyway, so yeah, that was a really specific thing. And of course, Brooke's like, "What the hell are we talking about here? What's happening?" He's like, "Oh, I just mean hack it," which leads to Reggie, who can hack things. And again, it felt like we were going through all these things. We're searching for the hidden magazine.
Had we set this up with Reggie? I don't remember this being a thing.
Kind. I don't know if we ever specifically got hacking, but I think they've told us before that he works with computers and shit.
Yeah. I just didn't realize he was on this sort of level.
Yeah. But hey, it was actually relatively realistic. At least, I mean, they kept it realistic, but not showing us what he was doing. And then it's like, oh no, two-step authentication. Okay, we're screwed now.
Yeah, it sounded like he was just brute forcing it as well. Just okay, we'll try as many different combinations as we can, basically.
But no, that you go down to Brooke, and that's when the Dutch angles really came in, when he went into the basement, with the laundry stuff, and they're back and forth and finding the magazine. And then, of course, it leads to Rashid in Al's room. And, of course, I immediately went, okay, they're not the alt-right assholes, but I bet they stole the dog.
Yeah.
Sorbet's in there. And, of course, as soon as they go in, like, Al's sweating, and he's sitting there like, what's up, Lionel? What's happening here? And, of course, the dog ends up running out. The whole thing was cracking me up.
It was very amusing. Yeah, it was when they're talking about the magazine where she's like, it would take a proper psychopath to steal a dog.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts over and he's there just looking terrified.
He's like, okay, she kept going on about her stupid dog, I stole it, but then something happened, I fell in love, didn't we, doggy? And he starts talking about like, oh, have you ever seen a puppy have puppy dreams? Oh, well, your heart will melt.
I mean, it's it was believable, right?
I feel like Rashid and Al need an episode now. I mean, they can share one. I want a duo episode with those two being roommates.
I'm okay with that. Rashid was the breakout hit of the first season. In terms of just of the side characters, all the smaller ones. Just he just was always just fantastic. I feel like we've been lacking Rashid this season.
I don't actually think we've had any less necessarily.
Oh, I do. Because I can only really think of 2 or 3 real instances of him in this
Maybe
season.
a little less, but I don't know if it's been like, I don't know. I don't actually feel like anyone's been lacking this year, because even some of the main characters disappear for whole episodes when we're focusing focusing on someone else. So it just feels like
he's all in the back half.
Yeah, I feel like it's just in the show's style, because like we had one scene with Sam in this episode.
Yeah.
For example, who has another hate crime, of course. People inspired by the alt-right social account put bananas on our door handle with the word bitch on it, and there's a kind of a running gag where people are trying to like, well, maybe they mean bitch in like an empowering way, like bitch, and obviously everyone's saying it and knowing it's bullshit, but they'll just kind of like try to make it feel better
anyway. Yeah.
And so they're looking into all this stuff, and it's funny because we had a big debate last episode about. I say debate. We didn't really care that much. It was more of just a speculation debate. Yeah, about how they might wrap up this mystery of who this is that's doing all these tweets, and it was like, well, who really is there that could be? And maybe if it's one of the White Housemates that's in the house now, we don't really know them well enough, and I kind of speculated.
I think we kind of cut them out of the discussion pretty quickly because it was pretty underwhelming as a reveal. And
I was like, oh, maybe it'll just be someone we've not met yet. Maybe it'll be someone who is intentionally kind of like just a background character. But credit to them, they hit us with someone here that it fit perfectly as the ending of this noir episode to reveal the killer, if in that terms, right? But also it was someone we know, someone that kind of works. Their motivation's a little bit different than maybe what you expected, and so it works. So Silvio, like, we have the moment because we actually realised, oh shit, this is the same night as so and so getting punched, because we hear Reggie punching him, and he turns around, and Lionel sees the tweet, and then he looks up, and Silvio's sitting there. I
love how you just see it in the reflection.
Yeah, in the mirror behind him, and then Silvio realises, and it's like this, and it really does feel at the moment.
He tilts the screen down a bit, like, yeah, you didn't see that.
But it really feels at that moment at the end of a noir where it's the hero cop starts like debating with the villain as to why he's doing it. It really has that kind of feel as well. On top of actually having the serious discussion. Wait, why are you doing this? Why are you spreading this hate speech? And it's like, hey, I get way more likes and retweets on this stuff than I ever did the paper. Like, people care about this stuff. And everyone here is just a spoiled brat who whines about being offended about things. No. I'm giving everyone a voice here. And Lionel, quite rightly, is like, do you realise the type of assholes you're enabling by spreading this and, like, making them think it's okay and that it's like a movement?
Yeah. No, I like, though, that his, his argument for his logic is, it's understandable, right? You understand where he's coming from, where he's, him saying that, no, this is supposed to be a place of, challenging ideas, and it's, I'm not, he's not justifying the aggression, but justifying the idea of challenging it. And it's a debate that's come up a lot in the last couple of years, especially on campuses of, shutting down lecturers from speaking, because they're, they don't like them because of their views in general, right? They have. Yeah, we've seen that a lot, and it's been a topic of discussion over the past couple of years. So this feels very authentic and real, again, because I can understand the argument because so many people do use it and believe in it.
But don't sympathise with it, right? That's not what you're saying here.
No, I'm saying I understand.
That's all right.
There's a difference.
I know, I'm just making it clear, because I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I honestly understand it in the way you say it. I understand thematically what it's representing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's understanding why the character's doing it from a writing perspective, as opposed to understanding why he as a person would choose to do it this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because this is a bit of a leap. Like, can he not, like, see the problems with it? Can he not see, like, how he's doing this and what it's achieving and what it's causing? Like, there's too much fundamentals there to understand why he thinks this is the right way of doing it. But I get what you're saying there about how this represents kind of that debate and what's going on.
I say, I think it doesn't. I don't understand him taking this specific action, but his ideology of wanting to challenge and thinking that this is no longer a place for free speech where we can come up with where you can say.
And I think it's worth saying here he's a total hypocrite, because okay, you can do that to a point. But we've seen some of the things he's been tweeting with this. Yeah. Like, these are outright attacks on individual people. This isn't just putting out opposing ideas. This is downright arguing and shouting hate speech at other people directly. Yeah. And we've seen it's already inspired at least one physical act of a real thing, like these bananas on the door handle. So it's kind of this fallacy coming from where he's presenting himself to be noble. But it's like, nah, you're not as noble as you think you are. Which again, kind of like ties into the idea of like hate groups and like thinking they're for the better of society and we're speaking the truth and you're doing all this and you're doing all that. But you're not really. You're doing this to benefit. Typically institutions benefit financially from things, and arguably this will lead to financial benefits for him one day, maybe.
Well, that's the thing that's most interesting about it to me, though. Here is. He's not doing it for a personal benefit in the same way, because he's intentionally hiding his name, right? He's not trying to take all the credit and glory. He's doing this because he genuinely does believe in the benefit of, of having the discussion.
What I was getting at there, though, is that he's benefiting in likes and retweets. Like, he actually outright uses that as a currency that he is happy about. So I think that's the correlation there. Is that is his currency. That is how he is benefiting from this. He is a failed journalist who wants to feel like he's making a difference. So he's went this extreme route to feel this way because it's getting a reaction, even though it's essentially clickbait. It's glorified hate speech clickbait.
Oh, it is clickbait, but no, I mean, just look at the internet. 90% of the journalists are quite happy to lean into clickbait.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's unique in this endeavour. No. I'm saying he has no integrity, whereas Lionel clearly wants to investigate and actually break things down and expose things with some intelligence and tact. Silvio is all about just grabbing the fame and the headlines, even if it's anonymous.
Yeah.
The point is that he wants to just feel like people are reading these things, regardless of who they are and why they're reading them.
Oh, definitely.
So, in a weird way, Silvio's kind of come to represent kind of the, I don't want to say the infrastructure, but just the system in a lot of ways. I mean, I think even the fact that part of this episode is Lionel's into him, and he's still kind of trying to get over him, even though he's with his new Wesley, his new boyfriend, and we've seen that he was kind of hung up in Silvio, and then he kind of got a bit of a backbone. He kind of became confident and kind of like shunned him away. But it's almost like, yeah, when he first came to the campus, he was enamored by this Silvio because he was like part, he was the system, and he's like, oh, I can make it in the system. And then he's had this awakening where he realized the system's kind of bullshit. Why did I want to be a part of this? Like Silvio, in a kind of like a relationship kind of way, represents that for him.
It does. I think it's funny how he represents all his journey, as from what we've seen, has represented, you know, the journalism, the transition from print to online. Because, you know, in the season 1, it was very much like a bastion of print media, that style of journalism. Whereas here, it's like, nah, look how much more clicks and retweets this is getting, with all this just leaning into the easy clickbait, essentially.
Yeah, this is just a complete lack of integrity. That's all it is. It's chasing the easy money, if you will. Yeah. And yeah, I think that actually there's a lot more deep stuff going on in this episode than I think I maybe even give it credit for. As I was watching it, I was enjoying the fun noir styles and the way it was being shot. And
it's funny because, you know, when it has the reveal, it does a thing that I will often complain about in TV, where it you know it has Lionel think about all the things that Silvio said that were, you know, now suspicious.
Oh yeah, but now it's
in context of this specific episode with the tropes that it's playing with, it works so well.
The point is that it's using the tropes. The point is like, hey, this is the noir detective moment where he realizes all the things that he said. So no, that really works. That works out really, really well. I think it's actually really smart what they've done with Silvio, and it's odd because he was kind of a minor character in the first season, and it kind of has been up until this. But he's been a side character for Lionel, but he's suddenly become a bit more important. And I think using him to represent someone who abuses the system, and doing so in case of this episode, kind of represents the system in terms of Lionel's kind of perspective of the world, and the idea that he was seduced by this and then realized, no, wait, I don't want this.
Going forward, I really like that. Well, once he's discovered, he doesn't try and hide it. You know, he does for like 20 seconds where he lowers the screen, and then he's like, all right, forget it. He leans into it, and it ends with him walking off and saying, and you know what, you can quote me on that. So it's like, you know, he's ready to go public, essentially. He's accepted pretty quickly that, okay, this is it going forward. I think that's pretty interesting that he doesn't try and fight it.
Which is, you know, I think goes back to the hypocrisy. You're saying that he's fine with being anonymous, but does he always know that eventually it's going to turn out to be him? And by building up this mystique beforehand, does that just increase his stock once he does become revealed?
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah.
Will he be seen as a hero to the alt-right? I mean, I don't know.
I think it'll be interesting to see how some of the alt-right react to him, because obviously, you know, he's gay, and that's a big part of his character. And even in this conversation, Lionel's like, yeah, but hey, you're gay, you shouldn't be on this side.
Yeah, which is a really, really big point to bring up, actually. Like, he is actively aiding and enabling a group of people who actively hate him and hate his kind.
That's what I think is going to be really interesting to see, is all these people who have been supporting him anonymously.
It kind of...
do any of them change their minds when they learn who it is?
It links into Tessa Thompson's like cameo last episode on the TV, on the Fox News. Like, she's the one at Fox News. Like, it's kind of like, no, he should be against this group and everything they stand for, but he's willing to just like benefit from it and benefit from what he can earn from them. It's like it's almost like he's this really selfish kind of like, well, I can use this to manipulate it, and because I've got mine, I don't care about the rest of my people.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be interesting over the rest of the season to see how much he believes in what he's saying and how much of it is just selfish. Because you know, as much as these selfish things are, you know, are really obvious and easy to see, to what point does he fight for what he believes in? As in, you know, right, you know, complete free speech, challenging the ideas that, you know, the stuff that he puts forward to Lionel here. How much does he fight for that over the course of the season? I think it'll be interesting to see.
Right now, I question how much he actually believes in any of this stuff. So I would be curious to see actually, because again, I'm kind of calling out the hypocrisy here. I don't know if I buy much of this bullshit. I feel like I feel like he's justifying a lot of this, and
he might be. But this is the thing: is like, did he just start this on a whim, going, "Oh, this might get clicks," or did he start it and then it started getting clicks, so he lent into it? Like, did he start it with the intention of spreading his message, or did he start it with the intention of, you know, of getting the attention?
Does that make it any better or worse?
I think I don't know if it's better or worse. I just think it's a difference between if he believed in the message he was saying at the start, or if he just kind of did it and then got corrupted into the hypocrisy and being selfish because he saw the results of the popularity, or if he never believed in this at all and just went, that'll incite people, and went for it from that route. I think it's pretty interesting to me as to which one it is.
Well, because I think I'm looking at it more from the perspective of he was just always like this. And when I say like this, I don't necessarily mean spouting this kind of thing. I just mean doing whatever gets the reaction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Did he do it from scratch just for the reaction, or did he ever agree with the views?
Well, I mean, what I'm getting at, though, is that I think he was always like that, and there's no integrity in that, regardless. Like, I don't really care if he... Well, I don't know if I don't care, but, like I'm saying there's no difference, because either way, I think he's a shitbag.
Oh, yeah, of course he's a shitbag.
Like, no, but...
goes without saying.
But no, but I just mean, like I'm saying it doesn't really matter in the end, because even if, like, that's why he started it, I still think he's full of shit in terms of, like, everything he talks about, why he's doing this. Oh, I believe in free speech, I believe in that. I kind of look at all of it and say, this is all bullshit. You just want the attention. Whether it's behind an alias or not.
But that's the thing. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I agree with that. And I think his opinion on how this started makes a difference on that for me.
I think he just wants to feel like he's making a difference, or feeling like he's actually being noticed and read.
Quite possibly, yeah. So
what way do you think he started this that has a more has more integrity to what he's saying?
If he started this with the intention of it's still in some regards spreading the hate, and I think he always wanted to do that, but with the difference is if he did it genuinely to try and challenge, right, to start this, or if he did it when he started this account, was he thinking, oh, I'll do this because it'll get clicks, right? I'll do this because this will get people talking, like you'll get the retweets, or was he thinking, I'll do this because it will, challenge? And I think, and then did he get corrupted along the way? And once it started getting the clicks and the retweets and the likes, did he lean into it even more because it's like, forget all that old stuff?
I think even if he did it purely just to challenge everything like he's claiming he did, right? Then it becomes the question of, why does he feel it needs to be challenged?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Why does he feel this side needs to be challenged right now when, everything that's going on, why this side needs to be challenged? But, everything that's happened in the last season, everything that's going on with on campus, why this side? Why are they the ones that need to be challenged?
Well, I mean, I think to take it out of the bubble of the show, I don't think there's answers to that directly in the show itself. But to go on, sure. The way it's referencing all the past couple of years of history, him talking about colleges are supposed to be this bastion of free speech. That is a debate that has been brought up a lot over the last couple of years. So maybe this is just the show introducing that from this angle.
Yeah, but then we get into the debate of, yes, but then free speech is used as a smokescreen for just hate speech.
Yeah, of course. But I think that's something that the show is going to delve into.
Most likely, yeah.
But like I said, I don't know if he did just do it for the popularity of it, or if he did it because he does believe in this. And I think it's interesting to me to find out.
Oh, sure. Like I say, I go back to, though, no matter what his intention was at first, I
think he definitely got corrupted along the way, at the very least.
I'm honestly convinced of that. I could see it being... He was just as bad before, he's just shifted gears in what he's bad at.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
First he was just... There was no integrity, he's going for the message because he thinks it'll cause a reaction, and then it became about, oh, this is getting lots of likes and retweets, I'll keep doing this because this is making me feel like I have some sort of journalistic power. Even though it's it's Twitter, but again that's the times we live in. So I guess what I'm saying is I have a very little sympathy for him right now. I guess is what I'm really boiling down to. Yeah. Regardless of what his intention was to begin with, I see him as a bit of a.
I wouldn't say I'm sympathetic, but I find him a very fascinating character all of a sudden.
A giant gaping shithole. That said, though, him being gay does throw a weird twist into how you analyse him, because all of a sudden it's like, okay, right, now we have this different aspect to it. Because at one point in the conversation he says, yeah, I'm not a rich white straight guy, and you know, if he was, this would be a different, well, not entirely different conversation, but it would definitely be a somewhat different
Lionel
conversation.
Lionel would be reacting very differently.
Yeah, because Lionel here, instead of just being offended and appalled, is confused and wants to know why. Like he can't understand it. So that does lead to more questions.
It's why he's just gone from a side character that I didn't really care about. He was one of the less interesting ones. He was good in the sense for how Lionel played off him. Whereas now he's just suddenly become one of the most interesting things about the show, and I really want to know, okay, what's he actually like?
Well, I'm sure Lionel's going to expose him, and we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that's where we start the next episode.
Well, it depends, because if it's a Troy episode, then...
Well, see, I'd often agree, but I think, in the same way that last season we were we were concurrent up until the episode 5, up until that event, and then everything moved from there. I think this is the equivalent of that for this season, where everything has to move on from this reveal. We can maybe play with one episode before where we know and some of the characters don't, but I think it has to kind of play with this pretty quickly.
I wonder if it focuses on Troy. It's set mostly before this or during this episode, and we see Lionel kind of reveal it at the end.
Yeah, maybe.
Like Lionel's written a big piece or something, and he puts it out, and that's like towards the end, or maybe in the middle of the episode. Sometimes this show will just have that sort of be the middle of the episode, and then we'll focus on more stuff later. But really good stuff. The reveal was easily kind of the best possible outcome that they could have given us in terms of being interesting for who it was that was behind it. And I really liked how it played with the filmmaking style, and it really overplayed the noir comedy aspect of it. Brooke was kind of killing me this episode. She had a lot of funny lines.
Yes, yeah.
I
was as well. I was surprised and impressed by the placement of the reveal in the season, because the way they were teasing it, I thought, okay, this might be a quite late in the season reveal,
like end of episode 9.
Right, but no, here it's like, okay, we got time to play with this still.
Yeah, we can have the debate that spawns out of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That's episode 6. That's chapter 6 of Dear White People Season 2. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv. If you do happen to see Sorbet running around on campus, do send a message to Kelsey. She's heartbroken.
Or just laugh, because and she doesn't.
I love the idea that Al stole Rashid's magazine and cut out all the letters from it.
Yeah.
Made his note. It just cracks me up. But that is Dear White People. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys, and we'll see you next time.